And welcome to In-Game Chat for Saturday, June 23rd, 2018. It's Season 12. It is the 23rd episode of the 23rd day of June. How about that? Episode 23. I'm Scott.
I'm RJ.
And I'm Sarah.
Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. If you'd like to get in touch with us, our phone number is 334-272-9228, 334-272-9228. Locals might be saying, why does he always put the 334? Because we don't have just locals listening in. Since we stream, people are listening on everywhere. You can go to ingamechat.net for all the links to get in touch with us. You can find us on Twitter at InGameChat. You can find us on Facebook at InGameChat. You can email us, everyone at InGameChat. You can go to twitch.tv and watch us live while we broadcast. Go to twitch.tv, little search bar, type in InGameChat. You'll find us, and you can watch us there and join in the chat room live while we broadcast there. We're in the chat room right now with everybody as well. So plenty of ways to interact with us while we're on the air. Let me get this out of the way very, very fastly.
Fastly.
There, done.
You'll catch your tongue in that one day.
And that'll be great. It'll hurt like hell, but it'll be great for everybody watching.
Clip that.
Yeah, Matt, of course. Matt was actually going to be here up until, yesterday? I think he mentioned that he was not coming. Yeah. And I had asked you previously, I was expecting a full house, because I think I asked you on Wednesday or Thursday if you could come in so we could finally have you in here. We didn't do, last week we did a really good job of recapping E3. We didn't really do a good job of kind of giving our opinions on E3. And of course, Matt's not here to do that, but just to kind of go through and really talk about how did you think Microsoft did? How did you think Sony did? How did you think... I was, because I remember making when I made the show post that goes on our Facebook page, I really did an assessment of hey, I was disappointed in Sony and I really blah, blah, blah. And I had a lot of people commenting about their thoughts too. So I realized that was one of the things we did not do last week. While we covered it, fine, we went through it. We just didn't really give some analysis of it, more just kind of recapped it is what we did. And I don't know that we've got too much time to dig into it because there's stuff from last week we didn't get to. There's stuff from this week to talk about. So I still want to get into the stuff we missed last week. But since we have Sarah here, just to get her ideas of E3, did you watch any of it? Did you pay attention to it? How do you intake that?
Normally I do watch it. Because I was vending at a convention that weekend, I was mostly just getting updates via Twitter and friends who were watching it who were like, this thing, go read this article when you have a chance.
Yeah.
So it was a lot more scattered.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Assassin's Creed made me happy.
Yeah? Did it?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you play Origins? No?
I have not played Origins.
Okay.
I will be picking Origins up.
What's the last Assassin's Creed game you played?
I tried to play Black Flag.
And that's the last one you tried to play?
Yes.
And you should go after Syndicate.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Victorian
I have
age
Liberation.
Stuff. Love my Victorian age setting for that. So yeah.
But it falls into the category of games I will buy even if I don't play them because they're doing things that I want to encourage.
Okay, good. What did I see? Yeah, there was a chart. In fact, that brings us to one of the things last week that I didn't get to. If you're interested in Odyssey, where are you going to get the game from? There is a nice long... Oh, don't load a video. GameSpot, I hate your website. Stop with the video things. It's still trying to load because it's I want to play this video on your really old computer. Please. No, stop it. So there's a bunch of different versions of that game already for you to pre-order if you want to do that. But yeah, there's the standard edition, which is $60, right? Mm-hmm. You just standard edition. Then there's the deluxe edition, and it comes with only digital content. You'll get some XP and currency boost, a couple of gear packs, some armor sets, and a naval pack. There's a digital and a physical version of this. Then there's the Gold Edition. This version will include the deluxe content from what I just mentioned, plus the season pass, plus 3 days early access. There's a digital version of this. The physical version of this comes with a steelbook case. Obviously the one I'm going to have my eye on. We're at $110 now. Then there's the Assassin's Creed Odyssey Ultimate Edition. It includes all the stuff from the deluxe version and the gold version in the game as well. Plus nothing else, I guess. I don't know why you would have. If your gold edition comes with everything in the deluxe edition, why would you have an ultimate edition that comes with gold and deluxe? That's interesting. But that's $120. Then you have the Cassandra Collector's Edition. This is only from GameStop. It includes all the deluxe and gold edition content, bonus content, early access, season pass, steelbook case. Plus, it includes a 9-inch tall figurine of Cassandra. That's only at GameStop. We're at $150 now. The Assassin's Creed Odyssey Spartan and Pantheon Collector's Edition. Okay. This comes in 2 different versions. The Spartan Edition and the Pantheon. Each are nearly identical. The Spartan Edition includes just the Spartan statue, and the Pantheon Edition will include both the Spartan and the Athenian statues to create the diorama. Both will include the digital content of the digital edition, of the deluxe edition, a season pass, steelbook, 64-page art book, a lithograph, a map, and a soundtrack with select music pieces from the game. These are both exclusively sold through Ubisoft. If you want the Spartan, you're going to shell out $160. If you want the Pantheon, which comes with all of that stuff, you're going to shell out $220.
I hate when they do that with soundtracks. Select pieces.
Yeah.
You know, the Japanese soundtracks, you get the entire soundtrack all over the place.
Yeah, that disappointed me with BioShock Infinite because I really liked the music in that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then there's some statues that you can get that are available that don't. Whoa. Okay, you can get the Alexios figurine. I think I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. The figurine for that one's $60. Or you can get the Cassandra figurine, which is $60. Then there's a highly detailed premium statue that features Alexios on the head of Medusa in the Hero of Sparta armor and the broken spear of Leonidas. Stands at 68 centimeters tall, does not come with the game, but it will cost you $750.
Yeah, I don't like Medusa that much. I mean, I like Medusa a lot, but not that much.
Really? Yeah, I guess
no,
you do.
Nobody ever would have guessed.
No. So, yeah, that's a lot of different versions to pick from and kind of annoying. And I didn't turn off my the sound on my watch, so I apologize for that. And to check this real quick, I'm good there. Okay, so yeah, that just brought us to the Assassin's Creed thing. Was that your highlight of E3 then, just seeing Assassin's Creed then?
I mean, I was definitely happy about Unraveled 2.
Yeah.
Because more yarny.
Yarn.
Yeah.
But
What's the blue one name?
I don't actually know.
Did they give a name?
I don't
think so.
Think so. Yeah. And then, I mean, I'm interested in Anthem, but it's not like E3 really told me a lot more about Anthem.
No, it didn't.
So.
Did it feel like it did to me, Destiny 2 with a different perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I've always thought Anthem looked kind of like Destiny meets Titanfall.
Okay.
But I worry a lot about it because all the things I love in a BioWare game seem to be absent. I'll still buy it because it's BioWare. I'll give them a shot, but it is not my big open world dating sim with combat. So we'll see.
What was the other thing? Oh yeah, the whole thing with this Assassin's Creed Odyssey. They don't have there's no hidden blade in this one that we can tell. Somebody did a chart of all the different things that are included in all the different games, and this is the first one that doesn't have a hidden blade. You just have a piece of Eden, I think, which is just it's the broken spear of I guess it's the am I pronouncing that right? Leonidas? Is it Leonidas? Okay. Leonidas, the spear for that, from what I can tell. So, What else from E3 that I wanted to go over? Yeah, Sony, I appreciate what they did. I appreciated them trying something new and trying to be different and trying to stand out and trying to say that let's give them something that nobody else is giving them. I appreciate the willingness to take that gamble. It didn't pay off for them, for me, and maybe for a few other people that I've talked to about it. I haven't heard anybody that thought that they enjoyed that whole theatrical thing. Those of you who like theatrical things, you probably really, really enjoyed that. But it goes back to my whole thing is that when I am watching this, I want to see game, and this is not game. This is someone performing, which is fine if you're going in to watch someone perform. They were not. I wanted to see the game. Even still, they could have intercut it with clips from the game while they're showing somebody perform, while they have people talking, whatever the case. But they didn't do that. And so they also limited themselves to, I guess, longer versions, but less game. Longer showings of these games, but less games to show. Mm-hmm. You had basically really 4 big deep dives into games, if you want to call them that, but just really long things of what they were showing off. Last of Us 2, Ghosts of Tsushima, Death Stranding, and still get nothing. That's about as good as Anthem. Actually, we know more about Anthem than we do about Death Stranding. Yeah. But and then Spider-Man, and that was it. And we didn't get dates on anything either. So a real lack of games from Sony and a real lack of information from Sony. The thing that probably applies to the three of us would be the fact that Sony showed off that what apparently is the story, and I'm using air quotes here, the story trailer for the Destiny 2 DLC. When they decided to kill off a character. Yeah. But yeah, I was still disappointed. I was still disappointed in what Sony showed. And then we had Nintendo the next day, and I was still disappointed in that. I was hopeful, and then when they spent 25 minutes on Smash Brothers, I was just, no, that's too much. You could have done that in a Nintendo Direct later on in the week that just covers Smash Brothers. Mm-hmm. But what that told me is that Nintendo doesn't have anything for the rest of the year. Nintendo themselves. Third parties, they probably do. Of course they do. Mm-hmm. But first party, they don't have anything for the rest of the year. They have Octopath Traveler coming out, which I'm kind of interested in, even though that doesn't seem to fit my game style. I do kind of, it's a brand new IP. So anytime you can get into the ground on something, it always holds my interest to think, okay, this is from a legit developer, and apparently it's only on the Switch. It's gotten a lot of people raising eyebrows and wanting to look at it, but so I have some interest there, but they really don't have anything for the rest of the year. Otherwise, and I really feel they would have done this, they would have teased it with a title card or something like that and said, look for a Nintendo Direct on this in the near future. Yeah. But they didn't. Not for the Yoshi game, not for Metroid Prime 4, not for anything that might have been coming from them at all. It was just Smash Brothers. That's all it was. So I was disappointed there. Microsoft is the one that surprised me. Microsoft is the one that said, here's game after game after game after game, regardless of if it was exclusive to them, regardless of if they were actually showing gameplay, regardless of if they weren't even telling us when these were going to come out. It was just game, 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 game. And I was quite happy with that. They didn't trot out a vehicle to show off and waste time as it lowered from the ceiling. They didn't spend a lot of time with a lot of talking, even though there was that. It was a very long. Microsoft's was the longest show of the whole thing. I mean, God, I was happy with Devolver. Did you watch Devolvers? Oh, you should go watch Devolvers. Yeah, Devolver, because the two games there that they showed off that I was interested in was the My Friend Pedro, and then whatever that mech game was at the end that I've completely forgotten what it was. So And the chat room is flying by fast, so I probably have missed a lot of discussion. But Nabokov fan is in there, and we haven't had him in the chat room in a while, so it's good to see him. He sent us a letter last week that we never actually got to. Again, there's a lot of stuff we just did not get to last week. It's a bit on the long side, but I might be able to sum it up and read it on the air today. But he did send us an email, which you can do too. Just send it everyone@ingamechat.net. So I do want to go over the games that we played, even though there hasn't been too much that I played. I've just been doing the grind of Destiny on the PC. I brought my second character up to I don't want to say up to a level, but up to what's the word? Up to date through the story and everything else for the DLC. Mm-hmm. So I got through all of that. So now that character's free to go through and do all the daily or the weekly things that I have to go through. So I spent time doing that, and oddly enough, there was something in the news this week that I posted on our Twitter account. So I went back to the game, Danger Zone, and I remembered that they had given it an update way long time ago. In fact, they did it back in December, and I hadn't touched it. So I opened it back up, and I had 3 new test phases that have, I don't know, probably about 10 or 15 test tracks to go through, brand new ones to go through. So that was fun. I got back into that last night. I did, and that was that was a lot of fun. Just to kind of get back into that and get back into the mode of try over and over and over and over. I remember I made an attempt on one track. I made an attempt 70 times before I decided to put it down and walk away. But yeah, 70 times I made an attempt at this one, trying to get platinum. I'd gotten gold, but I had to get platinum. That's just me. So I made 70 attempts at this thing. And I walked away from it for a while, and then late last night, I went back to it. I say late last night. For me, that was like 10 o'clock. I went back to it, and in about 5 tries, I knocked out a platinum. So 70 tries, and then 5 others after taking a break, and it's like, boom, there it is. So I got that done. And then, track after track, I went through a bunch of tracks after that. It was like platinum on 3 first attempts, 3 attempts, something like that. Never like that again. I'm working on one now that looks like it's going to give me some issues, but who knows? When I sit back down, it could be real easy and simple.
Any graphical updates?
I didn't see any graphical updates. Just not that there needed to be any graphical updates. They did add cars. They did take the testing facility outside rather than inside on some of these. The cars you don't really select. They just give you the car for certain tracks.
Okay.
So nothing that I saw that was really new graphics-wise, which I was not asking for any kind of updated thing for that. I just wanted more of the same.
Right.
It felt like there wasn't enough. And by the way, that game's on sale during the Steam sale for like $8 right now. So that was nice to see. They had made an announcement just this past week that Danger Zone 2 would be releasing fairly soon. And also, there's another game that they're going to be releasing as well. Where's it at here? I want to say I had it. Yeah, another game called Dangerous Driving. Here's what I'll tell you about it. These are ex-Criterion Game staff members. They released Danger Zone. And if you know Criterion Games and my passion for them, you know what I mean when I talk about Burnout. I love the series. Danger Zone 2 is due out next month. It will expand the crash mode of the first title beyond the simulation test center and go into live traffic. It will be set across 26 levels that range from the freeways of the USA to the motorways of the UK. There will also be new mechanics like drifting and boosting, different objectives, and a greater selection of vehicles. Later in the year, the racing side will return when they release Dangerous Driving. This title will feature closed-track racing with takedowns, boosting, massive crashes, and lots of destruction. There isn't mention of multiplayer, but it certainly seems like they are looking to recreate every aspect of its long-lost arcade racing series. Alex Ward said, we're taking all that we've learned to develop our most ambitious title to date. Dangerous Driving gets me back to making arcade racing, the kind of software I am most passionate about. I am extremely happy to see that come about. It'll be great. This is exactly what I want. Since EA has decided not to do anything with Criterion other than co-develop certain parts of their other games. Although they did a really good job on the VR Space Battle stuff for Battlefront, the original one. So that's what I played. What about you, Sarah?
I've been playing Destiny 2, the Vermintide 2 beta, and then just a little bit of Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, okay. I want to get back to that with you.
Yes.
And RJ, what about you?
Grand Theft Auto Online. I'm playing it, still trying to earn money as fast as I can in there. Recently picked up a hangar, so I've been able to do some hangar missions, but maximizing the amount of money I can get in there, it's going to take a while. But then again, I knew what I was getting into. It was going to be a grind fest. I just finally made my first million after all was said and done, and I'm still finding ways to pick things up after that. Played a little more of Street Fighter V. I'm anticipating Cody's release on the 26th of this month, so getting ready for that, and I'm probably going to go online when that comes out and start playing that a little more intently. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much all I've played this week.
All right, fantastic. Well, when we're going to take a break, and then when we come back, I want to talk about Sarah because she hasn't been on the show in a good while, actually. I don't remember the last time you were with us. But I know in between now and then, you're playing on a different console than the Xbox now.
I am.
And I want to get your thoughts about your experience with that and how you're enjoying it. So we'll get into that. I'm doing a theme this week, but I really feel like that theme is going to be exposed almost instantly. But yeah, so, I mean, I'll let you guys guess when we get to it. And I know you probably can't guess off of just one. Maybe you can. There's hints. But I won't say anything about them. Anyway, this track, I like it. It's from the game Primal Rage. It is called The Inferno. It starts off all like, dun, 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 and then it gets this guitar. It's not really a guitar. It's whatever the keyboard sound makes for a guitar. Mm-hmm. And then it gets in the guitar-heavy stuff. And then out of nowhere, there's this organ that comes in. And it's not like an organ. It's almost like something you'd hear in like a choir or like a church, you know? It comes in and it's all jazzy and it's all poppy and yeah, it's just weird. They're going for this hard edge and then this organ part comes in and it's like took a little bit of the edge off. Anyway, you'll know what I mean. It's coming up. This is from Primal Rage. We'll be back with more in Game Chat right after this. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. This is music from an old arcade title. It was an arcade game that I used to play a ton of, or at least watched people play it. I didn't play too much of it, but I loved going in and watching it. And I remember I got Jeremy, who used to be on the show. I got him to mod my original Xbox so that I could put a bunch of different games on there and that sort of thing. Only so I could put this game on there and play it. I had a bunch of different games on there, but I really just wanted this one game. This is Trog.
Trog, yeah. Trog.
You knew exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Because you heard the story or because you recognized the music?
Recognize music.
Man, I did not recognize. Somebody had played this for me a couple of days ago and didn't tell me what it was. I
have to emulate it, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to play.
That's what it was on the Xbox machine. There was some kind of, like, you had to put in the game Splinter Cell on your original Xbox, and then that would let you get into the like a different operating system on it or something like that. It was some kind of exploit through the Splinter Cell game on the original Xbox, and that's how I could get to all my emulators that were on there, and then play whatever I want that I'd put on. So
I still remember the poem from that one.
The what?
There was a poem in the arcade version of it.
Really?
Yeah.
If you remember it, go for it.
Once upon a time in the land of Og, there lived a one-eyed caveman by the name of Trog, and in that land there lived 4 friends, Bloop, Rex, Spike, and Gwen.
Wow.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, so welcome back to the show. Obviously, Matt is not here. We have Sarah here, also RJ and myself. Sarah has now been playing on a PlayStation 4 for how long now?
I've had it for at least a month.
Yeah.
But I haven't gotten a chance to play a lot on it yet.
Well, what have you played on it?
Just Horizon Zero Dawn, and I cranked up Destiny. But
you bought Destiny again on it, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
How far have you gotten in that?
Not very far at all.
Okay.
I sort of like,
I remember this.
I really don't want to do that again for the fourth time.
That happened when I did it on PC. I was like, oh God, got to go through this again. So
Motel's calling.
Was that Motel that's
Yeah.
calling? Okay. Let's go to the nope, that's TV. Let's go to the phone. Hey, Motel.
Ahoy, hoy.
How you doing, man?
You've got everything covered on today, don't you? My goodness, I shouldn't have telegraphed my intro, huh?
No, not at all. Not at all. We love hearing from you, man.
No, I was nipping in because Medusa's Mare was going to say a whole lot of stuff about what she's been playing, so I wanted to question her on it and make sure she's up to date.
Okay. Well, then you go ahead.
No, I'm not.
You go ahead and you question her on this. I'm getting a text from downstairs that I need to run and fix a issue. So, no, you guys go ahead. I will be right back for this. But
the first thing is the way back when you said you had not played Dark Souls, have you attempted it yet?
No, I have not attempted Dark Souls. I'm not sure there is enough Xanax in the world for me to play Dark Souls.
Oh no! I was going to say if I bought you Dark Souls, if I can get it on cheap, would you play Dark Souls?
I would attempt it. I would even go so far as to say I might stream it so everybody could be deeply entertained by how bad I was and how many horrible words I know.
But yeah, this is the thing. This is what you're. I'm sure RJ could probably attest to this. You know, the first part of Dark Souls is feeling a lot.
Yeah, I don't like failure.
No, but it's not failure. If you can't get back to your souls and you lose them, that's okay. You'll get them back.
No, it's not.
I had the same problem. Like, I gotta be honest. Like, I was playing through a classical mage on Dark Souls 1, and just before I came back on the podcast, I was going through just above the Painted World entrance. I can't remember the Painted World sort of cliffhanger area, and I fell off that. One of the Painted World Guardians just knocked me off it, and I lost, I would say, maybe 200,000 souls, something to that degree, maybe more.
I don't even play this game, and that hurts.
I think the most I've ever lost is 600,000.
Yeah, but RJ, what did you do after that?
You just build them up again. Keep playing.
Exactly.
No,
you just go. You just feel the hit. And you just build them up again with this. There, it's not a big deal.
No, you go drown your sadness in ice cream and swear never to play the game again.
You should be drinking already. It's not a big deal.
You're not the type to throw your controller at the TV, things like that, are you?
No, I don't throw my controller at the TV. I throw my controller at my feet because my feet are less expensive than my TV.
Look, get you one of those. Get you a spare couch cushion. Just put it on the floor and then spike your controller in that, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I can't go sideways because I have cats, so I'd hit one of them.
Down.
Okay, now, yeah, but it is trial and error. Yeah, there's failure, but you go back and you lather, rinse, repeat, and you just learn from your mistakes and keep going from there.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Destiny is the reason why I no longer freak out every time I die. Mm-hmm. Like Mass Effect, if I died, I was really, really, really upset, and I died a lot. But
I wouldn't say that's not something that you cannot learn for a lot of people. Like for example, myself, if I start to play a Mega Man again, even though I know I might have 20, 40 or whatever lives on Mega Man 9 or Mega Man 10, mm-hmm. I still get horrifically mad in my seat when I just make a simple mistake and I get half of my life taken off and I just don't recover. I'm so mad still that I got all that life taken off, and I just still make loads of mistakes after that. So I wouldn't worry. It's part of the experience. Like, I gotta be honest, like, this is, when you get past it, it is actually part of the fun. It's just like, oh my goodness, how silly I was. But regardless of all of that, what have you actually been playing?
Like I said, I haven't had much of a chance because I've been out of town a lot since I got...
Tell us, first of all, I think you should tell us of what you've actually been doing. You said you've been very busy with, what was it? Not concerts. I keep saying
conventions.
Conventions. Thank you.
So I went to the Nebula Awards up in Pittsburgh, which is the Science Fiction and Fantasy Association of their annual awards dinner and banquet. So I was there. I moderated a panel, which was super fun, and then I came back and I make jewelry. That's one of the things I do in my free time, which I have none of. So I was vending at another convention here locally, well, local to me, Birmingham, which is like 90 miles away. So I've been doing a lot of that kind of thing lately. So that's cut down on my video game time because I have to prep and pack and do all that kind of thing in the evenings.
So what was this whole thing about a new console?
I got a PS4 finally.
Hey, okay.
So I'd been resisting for a long time, but things lined up finally to push through my resistance. So I have a PS4 now to go with my Xbox One. I'm still not on PC. I'm sorry. My laptop can't do it.
100%. If you're going to pick one, I understand wanting to go for a console.
Yeah. You can pick up a PS4 a lot cheaper than you can pick up an entirely new gaming rig.
Again, it all depends on what you have.
Yes. So I've got the Xbox One and the PS4 now. I will be playing Destiny 2 on the PS4, but at this point I may wait until that mode of light shows up and I can just skip all the stuff I've already done for 3 separate characters. And then I picked up Horizon Zero Dawn because that was the game that I kept eyeing going, I don't know, maybe I'll get it. No, I can't really justify it for one game, but maybe. So I'm very excited to dig into that. I'm still in the tutorial right now. I haven't had very much time.
So Nabokov was asking, what do you like about the PS4? Having some times on, some hands on it. Is there something that you want different, or
Well, I used to play various co-op stuff on the PS3 with a friend of mine, so it's not completely a jump for me. I've got to get used to the new controller. So one of the other problems I have is I have a lot of motion sickness related to video games. The PS4 seems to be setting it off a little bit more than the Xbox One does, but I suspect that's just because I'm not used to the games. So that's an issue that has also contributed to me not playing for very long at a time.
Have you looked into that yet?
I've started taking Dramamine before I play. I don't know if it's psychosomatic or not, but it seems to help.
Well, whatever's helping you, for goodness sake. But my goodness, that's again, I'm mostly playing off a monitor, so I've got high refresh rates and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm playing off a fairly old television, so that probably doesn't help.
I was trying to think if there's a setting or something you could adjust or something to help alleviate that. But
I'm not sure. I know other people have had the issue, but nobody seems to have come up with a definitive fix that I've found. Mm-hmm. If anybody has suggestions, please drop them in the chat room.
Yes, 100%.
So,
goodness.
Let's see.
I never heard that issue before. I mean, motion sickness for like maybe racing or flying or something intense, really high speed, something like that. I could see that going on. But
for me, it's worse if the character is going through enclosed spaces. So like if walls are very close to my field of view.
Yeah.
I was not able to play Rise of the Tomb Raider because of that. I could only play for about 15 minutes before I would be so sick that I had to go lie down. Which really made me angry because I was so excited about that game. And so Vermintide 2, the open beta on that, has caused a little bit of that. Destiny, I'm usually okay because it's a lot of wide open spaces.
Yeah, I was about to say for Tomb Raider, there's some parts where, like you said, when she gets close to a wall, the camera suddenly rushes in to zoom in.
The camera zooms in. In Tomb Raider, the camera will also, if it feels like you're taking too long to make a decision, it'll start to drift to sort of direct your attention toward where the game wants you to go next.
Oh, yeah. Right. Very much like Gears of War.
Right. And unfortunately, if the camera is doing something that my brain is telling me shouldn't be happening, that also makes it worse. Because it's like, I'm controlling the camera. Why is it doing something else? Oh, no, bad. So that...
Have we look at Nabokov's suggestions, by the way? I don't own the PS4 myself, but Nabokov is spamming chat with a couple of suggestions of, of course, FOV might be a big issue, like you were saying, because it's indoors. Maybe re-alter it when you're in there, or what are you saying here? Best thing to do is add some bias lighting.
Bias lighting.
I'm not too sure what that is offhand, because if I was going to do that to my PC, I'd probably be figuring out something internally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'll look into that, Nabokov. Thank you.
Yeah, 100%. That's at least it's something to go on rather than just blindly, flail in the dark. Especially with a game that you feel like is actually being good. So E3, where do we leave off with that?
General kind of a meh feeling, really. Nothing really exciting or much to stand out, really. I mean, just didn't have that pop that we're used to from something of that magnitude, but kind of disappointing.
I've got an odd opinion. I feel like a lot of people haven't been really sort of talking about this, but I actually really enjoyed the PS4 sort of... I keep saying PS4. I mean, the PlayStation sort of aesthetic. The thing that annoyed me most was the cutaways. Like, I really enjoyed the musicians and getting into the feel of it. I was downright gleeing and just going woo in my seat when I saw them transition from very similar aesthetic and lighting for The Last of Us into the trailer. In my brain, I would assume it's probably much better than it actually was, but when it transitioned in, I was like, this is amazing. And they had a really good trailer, really good person-on-person mechanics, the way the skin and the holding, everything seemed to actually, it wasn't David Cage sort of robotic, sort of I press my pillow face up against your pillow face sort of thing.
Yeah.
I felt like the transition was good, the trailer was good, and then we were just left hanging with these people we don't know.
What are we talking about?
And it's not even that we don't... Oh, E3. PlayStation. Sorry, Scott. The whole idea was the transition. For me, PlayStation did a good job, except with the transition. From going from game to no game back to instrumental. It should have been people on stage. It should have been them talking about the game. I feel like they should have either brought out the developers or just showed more game and just kick the people out of the room at the same time. You know, like, hey guys, we're going to be showing more game. You'll see the game. It's exactly what you've been watching. You know, it's just, you know, people shooting each other and running through the brush and hiding under things. You've seen the main part. So we'll transition you now, so the people at home don't have to listen to these idiots. PG-13, I suppose, way of saying it. These idiots talking, you know, trying to pretend that they're not expecting the lead on in back to the convention.
Well,
I thought that was the worst thing. Never mind, you know, the convention, if it had been cut up properly, probably would look amazing.
Yeah, I will. I'll tell you, the more I see, even though I didn't like what they did this E3, I still like it every time they do a Nintendo Direct. Just for the fact that the more I see of Nintendo Directs, the more I think that's the way these things should go. Nintendo Directs come in, they're like, here we're covering, here's some exclusives, here's some third parties, here's some multi-platforms, here's some big reveals, that sort of thing. The more I see that, the more I think that's the way they should go. It's very to the point. It's not waiting around for an audience to clap. We're not hearing clapping. We're not hearing booing. We're not.
I got to be honest. Like overall, I agree with you. But if we were talking 2017, I'd be right on beside you. I wouldn't have anything to interrupt you with. But this year, they were trying to oversell Smash to the people that are competitive, and that's not what you need to do here. You know, E3 is for two people. It's for investors and customers. It's not for your hardcore fans of one particular game.
Oh no, no, yeah. I with the exception of what they did with it at this year's E3. But if you look back at any of other Nintendo Directs that they've done, where they
I love them.
Yeah, they jump through. Here's some titles we've got for 3DS coming up. Here's some titles we got for the Switch coming up. You know, it's a nice little 25, 30-minute presentation, real quick. Here's stuff. It's coming out, blah, blah, blah. That's it. It's just quick and to the point, and it's nice. And I'm not saying they all got to be like 30 minutes or anything. I'm just saying that they can do their presentations without this big theatrical presence type thing. They can do it directly to the consumer, directly to those people. This is one of the things that the E3 itself, these presentations, these press things, these are not part of E3. They happen around the same time as E3, and people relate them to E3, and they are called their E3 press briefing type thing or whatever they are. But just because you've got a ticket to E3 doesn't mean you get into these things. They're done on their own by the companies. E3 is a show floor convention thing that begins Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of the week, and you get some hands-on time. Does that still need to exist? Sure, let that exist. Let people go and play the game and then give us assessments of what they found out talking to developers. Does this whole thing where we watch stuff on, or where they have things on like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday with all this, all this, whatever it's called, presentation, I suppose. I don't know. Does that still need to be around? I don't think it does. That's one of the things when I went, this was the thing that needed as little input from me as possible, because everybody was seeing the same thing I was seeing. You know, there wasn't anything new that you were getting that I wasn't getting, that you were getting by watching at home that I wasn't getting by being there.
Scott, are you feeling that all of these conferences would be better if they took the Devolver digital route and just have fake audiences?
No, they don't need to. Well, yeah. I'll say let Devolver keep doing what they're doing. But I think,
my goodness, yeah.
Yeah, but I think the others would benefit more from just doing it. Just do it pre-tapes. Just pre-tape the thing and then show it off. That way, you get your information right. Nobody goes up on stage and flubs their lines, or you don't have technical difficulties during demo presentations and stuff like that. Yeah. We get that what we're watching is probably not being played live, or if it is, it's a tape of it being played live at some point. We understand that now. There's no reason for, I don't think there's any more reason for that to be done. So yeah, that's just my thought. I sound like a cranky old man, but that's just my thought.
Let me ask you this: if they did that pre-tape thing, televised thing, like a little event, how many hours do you think it would be? If they took all the relevant things, the one that mattered to you most, how long would it be on TV?
I mean, you look at Nintendo and they got all that stuff done. They usually get all their stuff done in about 30 to 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking the same thing when you just show, like, Microsoft's was 90 minutes, give or take, an hour and a half. Okay. I think if you would cut down some of the, I don't know, I think that could still stay as 90 minutes. I think that could still stay as an hour and a half. You'd still have, representatives coming out and talking about their game. They just wouldn't be doing it to a crowd. They'd just be doing it in front of a camera. Here's what I want to talk about. And while they talk about it, you show footage that's cut in there from the trailer, which, again, might actually save time because you're not focusing on Dude Man talking about his game. You're not focusing on these people coming out to play this game, which, again, I don't even believe that Forza thing was even real.
Yeah.
Also, what was up with that? Microsoft had dozens of stations set up for people to play. I mean, like,
John, I think that this is next section for business here. This is next section. Yeah, this is more than 4 minutes.
Do what now?
Motel saying save it for after the break.
Oh,
Yeah. We're gonna go way too long on this.
But they had like a ton of stations set up for people to play.
Yeah, and like I was honestly looking at myself. Like there's a thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to do a thing called representative experience, where we take a look at how people are presenting their games, and we see all their trailers, and then we have a look at what they're promising and what they're maybe trying to tell us, but not actually trying to tell us because they might go back on it. And then we have a look at the final game. Like, this is something that I've been looking at for the past wee while now, and as they were playing it, I was looking at different screens as they were playing it. I've only watched it twice. That's not very long, but the people that were playing it did not seem to be playing it at all. Even the people that were steering up to the areas that needed to be, if you discount the people that had to be choreographically perfect for the presentation, even the other people didn't seem to be doing anything at all. It all seemed to be a simulation.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think any of that was real at all. So I'm glad you looked at it and really, because I didn't go back.
No, I haven't properly looked at every single. I said I've watched it twice and had a wee glance at what they're doing. It did not seem like they were doing it at all.
Yeah, I didn't buy that at all, that they were playing that game live, which is fine. That doesn't mean that the game is bad because they're not playing it live. I just didn't think they needed to. It's a lot like what Ubisoft does when they show multiplayer gameplay and they just slap some voice actors over the top of it to represent, here's how people talk when they play games together. No, it's not. It just seemed like a prop. That's all it was, is like, let's just have people come out and play it and we'll show this off and show the day-night cycles and changes. And I don't know. I just, very cynical when it comes to E3 in the sense that when you try and show me that, hey, we're going to play this live, I don't really believe you that much at all. So, all right, we are going to take a break, and you want to hang on, Moltel?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, going to put you on hold. When we come back, we will have more of in-game chat. Did he ask you any at all about your PlayStation experience?
Yeah.
Because I totally never got around to that.
Yes.
Okay. Good. I'll have to go back and listen to that.
And then we started talking about my motion sickness.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, when we go into break here, we've got another track here. I guess this is just the main menu, the title theme, whatever it is. There really wasn't, like, back in the day, when you go back to your 8-bits and your 16-bits and even your N64 stuff and that sort of thing, they didn't have orchestrations and they didn't have titles for these things. They just had, like, Arena 1, Arena 2, or
Track 1.
Yeah.
Track 1, Track 2. There really wasn't. I understand that, I think it was at Donkey Kong Country on SNES that had titles for the names of the tracks, but a lot of these things, they just don't have names for the tracks. So anyway, this one comes from the SNES days. It's called Yoshi's Cookie. I don't know if you ever played it. I did not, but
Never heard of it.
This is it. We'll be back with more of in-game chat right after this. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. I don't necessarily know. I looked really hard for some music here, and I found like 6 tracks. So I actually don't know if this comes from the game itself or not. But apparently this is music from the new Jurassic World Evolution game where you build the park.
Okay.
The park simulator thing.
That sounds fun.
Doesn't it? But it hasn't gotten
Build an amusement park
with dinosaurs.
and then defend it from dinosaurs.
Yeah, it hasn't gotten the best of reviews, by the way. I was very interested in it, and then it came out...
Sounds like a save room or option screen or something like that.
I know. Well, when you're building a park, the music's not really... You know, when you do these, like, build things, you know, the Sim Cities or the whatever they are.
Sort of unobtrusive.
Yeah, it's very just, like, very light background type music. This doesn't seem like music that fits a Jurassic Park game thing, but it could if you're building a park. You know, it could work that way. Anyway, welcome back, and we have another call. I will take this completely blind, so I have no idea who this is. Hey, you're on In-Game Chat. Who's this?
This is Chris.
It's Chris. Hey, Chris.
What's going on, y'all?
Just talking different things. Talking E3 still, kind of.
No, I just heard it. She just got a PlayStation 4 not too long ago. Is that correct?
Yes, I did.
Yep, she sure did.
Surprising, isn't it?
Yep.
Now, since you've got one of those now, what kind of do you like any role playing games, Sarah?
Some. I've mostly been playing things like Destiny and BioWare games and all of that.
Monster Hunter World would be good. I don't know if you played that.
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it? Okay.
No.
I remember we probably talked about this, but
yeah. I played that briefly on Xbox One.
What was the biggest issue for that?
I just really hated the combat.
For me, it was the delay between combat. It was I didn't have a problem with the combat.
Yeah.
It was the amount of time you had to spend before you got to the combat.
Yeah.
The hunting aspect of Monster Hunter, that wasn't appealing to me. The actual combat itself, I was fine with.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a game where I can dress up a cat. Like, I have to really dislike it to not be willing to push through issues so I can dress up my cat.
Well, as I was saying, if you've ever looked or been somewhat interested in those old Dragon Quest games, because 11 is coming out for the PC and PlayStation in September, so that's another option if you want to look into that one.
Okay, cool. I don't think I've ever looked at them, so I'll add that to my list. Thank you.
Those the PlayStation Store. Are those Chris?
Say that again?
On the PlayStation Store, those a lot of the old classics.
Yeah, but that one's an old classic, the Dragon Quest games. But you just have to check it out and look up some gameplay footage of some previous ones. They're not really too active. There's passive battle systems where you just have to look it up, and that'd be the easy way to check it out and see is look up some gameplay of other series, or especially 8.
Okay.
8 compares the best to this one.
Okay.
All right, cool. Thank you.
So y'all been having fun, huh?
Yeah, well, just doing the show.
Yeah.
Just doing the regular thing, going through the we haven't really even touched on News of the Week that I know of, which we still got some stuff to go over from last week that we didn't touch, so I think I'm going to run through some of that, but yeah. So.
And I got hooked on Stardew Valley again, so I've been playing the living stew out of it recently.
Matt came in here last week playing Stardew Valley. He was playing Stardew Valley on his Vita?
Probably.
I think it was his Vita. He was playing Stardew Valley on his Vita.
That's the farming one, isn't it?
Yeah. When he came in here last week, so.
The graphics remind me a lot of Terraria.
Yeah, it's got a Terraria feel to it, but then it's also got a Harvest Moon feel to it, I think, because I've never played Harvest Moon.
And once it sinks your claws into you, good luck.
And it hasn't yet for me. But I'm still interested in picking it up for the Switch just because of the portability of it. And
that's one of the reasons I've got it on my Switch, and you can just take it and go. I mean, the graphics look the same no matter what, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you calling, Chris.
All right, y'all have a good one.
You too, man. Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye. Just some of the quick hits from last week that we did not get to. The lawsuit that has blocked the Friday the 13th game from getting any new content ever, they have completely the developers of that have said, yeah, we're done with content. We're not going to work on anything. And I read comments on this, and apparently I mean, listen, as much as all these people at E3 say the word bringing the community together, the gaming community, listen, the gaming community is vile. It is a vile subculture of human beings if you really dig into it.
You don't have to dig that deep.
And you don't even have to. Yeah, exactly. So the comments on this, they weren't being the usual cut and run with with just throwing out the explicatives and then just, being done with it. They were saying that apparently the developers on this, they were ready to let go of this property. I mean, it hit the funding that it needed, and they really didn't want to put in a lot more time into it. Mm-hmm. And this lawsuit was an easy out for them.
Yeah.
It was their opportunity to say, we can't make any more stuff. We're done. So they could move on to something else. Mm-hmm. I think it's a very small company. And honestly, with more and more content and a lot of back-end work that they were going to have to work on or do, that in some ways I believe the comments on this. I think this for them was like, oh, finally we can get away from this game and go work on something else.
So this was like a cease and desist, and we're like, cool, okay.
It is a cease and desist, but it was more like there's a lawsuit and you guys can't put out any more content. If this lawsuit had happened earlier, they wouldn't have been able to release the game if it had come before then. So they really got lucky in the fact that they got that they were able to actually get the game out before this lawsuit came around. Otherwise, it would have been even worse for them. No, Motel, I haven't forgotten about you. I just knew that Sarah had said something like you had stepped away, and I didn't know if you were back.
Yeah,
so
he's back.
So yeah, there is that. And then what else? We had that from last week. We went over the Assassin's Creed stuff. Telltale is being sued by their former CEO.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yes. For apparently a breach of contract. I have no idea what this means for Telltale much.
Lawsuits everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if he wins it, it's probably going to be a lot of money they're going to have to shell out. Is Telltale good for the money? Probably so, but they probably don't want to have to go through all this.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely taking the stance of, we're already financially challenged, you're just making it worse. Mm-hmm. So
yeah. And then the only other thing I had from last week is that we're getting a level boost in Destiny 2 when the update comes out, when Forsaken releases.
Yes.
We will get a Spark of Light. It will not work like the last one did, though. Mm-hmm. It'll work differently, which is fantastic. I wish the one that came out when, was it Taken King or was it?
Taken King.
Yeah. When Taken King released, all it did was bump up your level to like 30, I think, or 25. Or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. That's all it did. It didn't take you through the missions. It didn't take you through anything. It didn't give you all your abilities. You still had to go through and play the game.
Yeah,
which I thought was ridiculous.
Yeah, the new one will basically be like, okay, it's as though you played this. Here you go.
Yeah.
Start from here.
So you can then I think you can purchase them for like $30 if you want to do it for other characters or something. But you'll get a free one when you get the game.
Yes.
And it'll take whatever character you need.
First one's free.
Yeah, exactly. It'll take whatever character you need and bring them straight up to where they need to be to start playing the Forsaken content. But not only that, it'll be as though you played through that game. Mm-hmm. So
I'm looking forward to that because I was not looking to my fourth full playthrough of all of that stuff.
I know. Trust me, I know. All right, let me get back to Moltal here. Hey, man.
Oh, hi.
Hello. Okay. Glad to have you back. We just covered last week's news. I want to get to some that were in this week. What do we have? Octopath Traveler for the Switch is not going to have DLC. Basically because they said it's the full product. We don't need to offer DLC for this or a season pass. It's all there in the game. Kind of refreshing to hear. Normally you don't expect stuff like that from games that they're going to have.
I'm skeptical.
Well, they are being fun
I know.
in different ways, though.
There is a reason to be skeptical. I understand.
Yeah, you may feel that way now, but if your numbers aren't where you want them to be, you might backtrack on that statement.
Oh, we got a gaming disorder this week. The World Health Organization diagnosed that a gaming disorder is now officially listed. Mm-hmm. I can look. when this came up during the week, I do the morning show here with like 3 other people, and when that came up, they completely turned to me and said, "Hey, did you see this?" And I completely agreed with them. I don't disagree that there is a disorder, but I mean, we're talking serious. We're talking gambling addiction levels, you know, where someone is completely just addicted to playing that game, just as someone may be addicted to playing games in a casino or anything like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the direct link here because I remember reading the specific functions of it, because it is not an amount of time. It is the impact on the work and the other responsibilities of your life that you're disregarding.
Yeah.
So that something like Southern.
It now defines gaming disorder as a pattern of persistent or recurrent gaming behavior that manifests as impaired control over gaming, increasing priority given to gaming in the extent that gaming takes precedent over other life interests and daily activities, and the continuation or escalation of gaming despite the occurrence of negative consequences. That's the gaming disorder. Apparently there's also something called hazardous gaming that they have listed, and they list that alongside with things like hazardous substance use, hazardous gambling, and other problems associated with health behavior.
You notice they don't have this sort of Netflix hazardous watching?
Yeah, binge watching.
Are you still binge watching this episode? You know, you've clicked this thing 3 times. Do you really want to watch the next episode of whatever?
Yes. Now play it.
Yeah, I've had that before. Are you sure you want to keep watching?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I hit the button. Keep going.
Yeah. Well, the Wii was the first thing I saw. The Wii was the first thing that I saw that did that. That was like, hey, you've been playing a while. Maybe go take a walk.
Yeah.
No, I want a bowl. Come on.
Cuphead. Cuphead had that acapella song when you got to, I think, the second world.
Yeah.
When you found the barbers there, I think it's called A Quick Break in the soundtrack. It says, I think one of the lines was, it's nice to take a break, go outside, rest your eyes, something. Yeah. You can probably look it up on YouTube, probably find the soundtrack. Yeah.
Lethal Migraine is really giving me hell in the chat room. I own a Switch, so therefore I have a gaming disorder. I waste extra money on pointless steelbooks. I have a gaming disorder. Yeah, okay. Yeah. No, those are addictions. Steelbooks, those are. I would classify my steelbook buying as an addiction, although there are some that I skip.
At least you can avoid the ugly ones.
I try to, and then sometimes I just buy them if they're cheap. See, that's the other thing. If they're cheap enough, I'll sometimes pick them up too.
Yeah, but
even when I don't want them.
Works. That's not how gambling works. You're not buying a steelbook to try and resell it, are you?
No,
You're not investing. You're not investing hours of time trying to find these steelbooks, are you?
Not most of them, no.
No.
Not most of them. That's not a disorder. This is the thing. They have been so vague and general with this that you could honestly apply it to very casual gamers if you are to word these questions in the right way. And even, as the stereotypical inverted commas mother that would, maybe play her Candy Crush, she's dropped the kids off and she doesn't need to drive to wherever she needs to get to for the next 30 minutes. She'll get there early, play Candy Crush for a while, sit there for a while, and then I'll pop in, get the stuff done, and then pop out again. If you phrase these questions in a different way, if someone was actually asking you in a series of, proper investigative way, you probably, quite a lot of people would get caught up in this. And this is why that the fact that this being added on to the HWO, the whole Spectrum business, has got a lot of controversy with even people that don't play games. Like, I honestly don't mind this being added on in overall, because I feel like something like this, any sort of addiction needs to be recognized, because anything can be addictive. Even just readjusting your pillows or, trying to get out of your house, something as silly, that what might seem to a normal person might be very silly. Anybody with that sort of mentality could think, this is what I need to do before I need to get out of the house.
Well, then you get obsessive compulsive. Yeah, then you find obsessive compulsive.
this is a disorder. Never mind what they're applying this against.
I see what you're saying.
This is exactly what I'm trying to say, which is no matter how you phrase the questions, if it's applied to a specific genre, you need to be very careful on those questions, because someone can have, they could dedicate their lives to the medium that they love, regardless of what type of medium it is, whether it's books, TV, or games.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're not able to apply that properly, that may be, impacting the rest of their lives. But some people might be able to, spend that amount of time and not impact the rest of their lives. And you need to take that into consideration.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems that in this case, with the questions and the answers and the different degrees that they're trying to, process this in, it doesn't seem to be fully applicable, to everybody.
This reminds me of, remember how kids were diagnosed as ADD back in the day? And all the kids were like getting popped with Ritalin left and right. And it was just a kid with just active imagination, active behavior. Just put him on ADD to settle him down. And then I think about this, the way you're describing Molta, I'll think about all the folks who make their income off of esports or gaming, or YouTubers who stream every day for their income.
YouTubing would be classified as I would classify that as a disorder. I don't want to. It's not necessarily a disorder. It's just the sense that if you are a YouTuber, if you're a successful YouTuber, and I know Moltal, you're not necessarily in this category, but I know you do it. It's the sense that you've got to do that every single day. I mean, if you're making a living off of doing YouTube videos, especially the streamers and that sort of thing that we have on YouTube now, they've got to do it every single day.
Yeah.
They've got to do it every single day. If they miss a day, I know the top guy who does Fortnite or whatever, he went to E3. He missed.
Oh yeah, Ninja took a break and
he lost 40,000 subscribers or something in just a day because he didn't upload a video.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the strain on them to continually produce. Otherwise, they lose their subscribers, and if you lose subscribers, you lose money. That's just unreal. When I started looking into all this stuff and realizing what it all takes to get that stuff done, I put that out of my head a long time ago. It's like, this is not going to happen. I will let that. I mean, if it happens by some fluke of a thing, then I'll look into seeing what I got to do to keep it sustained. But I am not going to actively try and search and make this happen.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
Every day, nope.
It is unreal. So when they go on a vacation, they've got to have videos ready to go up when they do like go visit PAX or when they go to E3 or something like that. They got to have content ready to go on those days that they're not going to be there to provide content. So
exactly. This is where we're starting to divulge into the different branches of what the questions they should be asking. This is technically their job. This is something they should be doing. This is why quite a lot of the Twitch community has been discussing back and forth whether there should be an implemented day off, or maybe 1 or 2 days off that the streamers need to take, regardless of whether they think they can or not. For their mental health. There is discussion around that sort of thing. Of these are technically our employees. We might maybe this is all going back and forth and sort of thing. I don't think it's actually going to be something implemented, but.
Right. No. Not by YouTube, I can tell you that.
Of course not.
Oh, God, no. Because for every one that they lose, they gain 3 others who are on the rise. Because it just, it doesn't hurt their bottom line at all. Basically, what hurts their bottom line is when their most popular ones get found for racism or for other things that cause a whole lot of controversy, not just for the YouTuber that it happened to, but also for YouTube and their standards and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, why weren't you monitoring this? Yeah. Then it moves into their sponsors, not just YouTube's, but the streamers' sponsors who had people pay. Then
I can't be associated with you no more because you did this.
Right, because they didn't. Not that they needed to vet the person, but it's still, it brings up questions as to how can we prevent this from happening?
And the only thing I've got to say against that is I often do see that with the second big, the company that they're actively trying to fight against, Twitch, How often do you see Twitch coming up in the news about this sort of thing?
I want to say none, but is that just me?
No, like with the, but that's the thing. You don't have as high profile cases as it is on YouTube because YouTube is a household name.
Right.
Twitch may still be getting a whole lot of money from because you get subscribers and you get followers and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Twitch may be getting a whole lot of money in, and whenever they hear the problematic content or any of that sort of range of what they think is deemed unnecessary, they would be like, you know what, we're just going to strip this out. But you don't have these massive blow-up cases. It's because YouTube is in the limelight. YouTube, is, as a parent that doesn't understand what's going on, they'd be like, well, I know what YouTube is. I stick YouTube on for my child, and I put on Peppa Pig. Well, is Peppa Pig going to go on to these weird websites with these people that are getting paid money?
I have no idea what Peppa Pig is.
It's all this sort of thing that you're trying to get down to the base level. I would assume quite a lot of people in the news organizations are trying to get a bit of a kick out of people, to try and get them into the idea. Like, I'm not saying it's not there. I'm saying the fact that people are reporting on it is overblown to the fact that this thing's happening here. And is this something that you're actually searching for? Are you searching for ISIS recruitment stuff?
No, I get that. I get that. The larger the audience, the more vocal that audience will be. Mm-hmm. Is basically the point. And
I'm not saying it's not an issue, by the way. I'm saying that it's maybe a little bit bigger and a little bit smaller depending on who you're reading against.
Exactly. We got to take a break here and then come back and hit up some more of these news things about Red Dead Redemption 2 being on PC, Bethesda going into a lawsuit, Sony announcing their greatest hits collection for PS4, which is good news for you, Sarah, because now you can play a lot of games for a lot less money.
Yes.
And did you see the thing on Steam now that tells you how much money you've spent on Steam?
Yes.
Steam itself has a calculator that tells you how much money you have spent on Steam for that particular account that you're checking it with. And so, yeah, there's that. And then there's the whole issue of crossplay with Fortnite that we never got into last week. We barely touched on it, if at all. But plenty of more stuff come up. Can you hang on the line with us, Moltal?
100%. I'll see you soon.
Fantastic. We'll be right back with more of In-Game Chat after this. This is music going back, I think, to another SNES title. It's called EVO, Search for Eden. It is the title theme for that. We'll be right back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. And welcome back to In-Game Chats. This is music from, I think it's from one of the I guess, expansions or DLCs or something like that. It's from the Ark game, and it's called Aberration. It's the main title for that expansion, I guess. Gareth Coker, the composer for that, who we've had on the show a few times here. You probably have guessed the theme. I know RJ's already got the theme of all these songs that we're playing and how they all connect to each other and that sort of thing. So, but welcome back to the show. I'll tell you what it is when we go out to break, unless I'm sure everybody's figured it out. Probably. All right, welcome back to the show. It is we've got Multal on the phone, also Sarah here with us, and RJ and myself. Some of the other things that took off this week was Bethesda sued the makers of a Westworld game because it uses Fallout Shelter's code. It does look
third party. It was a third party contractor that has used the same code as what was built off, Fallout Shelter. So it's a 2D management game.
Yeah.
And one of the damning pieces of evidence that has been cited within their contract, you can see this contract, if you search for it, Polygon has a bit of an article above and below, and a few other places do it as well, but they have the actual filing itself within it. Mm-hmm. The whole business is there for 34 pages, but one of it is the fact that Fallout had an issue where it was, whenever you first loaded it back in the day, as in when they first started, where it had a bug where it would randomly zoom in on an area, have things, fade out in behind, like you were zooming in on a particular item, and it wouldn't work. And this game is having the same bug. Fallout Shelter has resolved this bug, but the company that had built Fallout Shelter is now having the same bug with the new game with Westworld.
Right, that's what I was thinking, was like the bug carried over into whatever they're using for this Westworld game.
Exactly, and they hadn't resolved it either.
Which will be the best proof of evidence that they are borrowing from they are using our code.
So this is holding a lot of things of like non-compete licenses. I think that's probably the main one, to be honest, because whenever you develop a game for someone, if you're even, if you're trying to utilize the same sort of framework for it's going to be very difficult for you to do as a third-party company, because you're going to need to start rewriting code that you know how to do already, and it's going to be, it's going to be tempting to maybe try to copy some stuff over and that sort of thing. Yeah. And you could probably have some sort of, maybe a case on your hands if, some things are similar, but the fact that the same sort of bug was coming up in the in the first iterations of this game it's not looking good, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think that'll be an easy win for them. The Sony doing the greatest hits games, I guess, is what they are. PlayStation Hits is what they're called. $20, and Sarah, you've got a lot to look forward to. Depending on what you like to play, I have no idea. But Little Big Planet 3 is down to $20. Infamous Second Son down to $20. Bloodborne, $20. I don't know if you're into that.
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Go on, Sarah.
About Dark Souls.
Yeah, apparently I appear to have promised to attempt to play Dark Souls and possibly also stream that.
Well.
Because Multal.
Interesting. Okay. Last of Us Remastered. Did you ever?
I watched most of a playthrough of Last of Us.
Oh, man. Well, then you've still got the Uncharted 4 collection.
Yes.
Or at least the Uncharted collection, I think, is already like $20.
It started out $20.
Yeah.
It wasn't, did it?
I think, no, it was like
30, maybe
35, I think, something like that.
20 when I got it.
Yeah, well.
It's been a while, but it was about $20 in my opinion.
Yeah. And then, of course, Uncharted 4 is now $20 as well. Yakuza. Yakuza 0 and Yakuza Kiwami, both $20.
Yep.
I've yet to play those ones, but I have to say I played 4 and I really enjoyed myself. It is good fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yakuza 4?
Yes.
Oh, okay. How many do they have?
I think it's maybe 7 or 8 in the main line.
Wow.
7. Including 0, then you got 1 through 6.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. RJ knows more than I do.
Oh, he's big into that, yeah. There was something that showed up, and I mean, I don't want to put too much into this. It feels like obviously I'm not betting the farm on it because I don't trust it being a thing that happens. But maybe Red Dead Redemption 2 is getting a PC release. Somebody who posted something on a LinkedIn profile said that they were a programmer for Rockstar. They did L.A. Noire, Grand Theft Auto 5, and then they had Red Dead Redemption 2 listed as PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Still like L.A. Noire.
Yeah. And so but then it got edited. Somebody
Right.
changed it and took off the PC thing. I don't necessarily know that they're going to release it for PC. It's possible. It's also possible they could do the thing where they release the game and then 6 months later they release the PC version, which is annoying. So who knows? I still want a PC version of that game. I'll take a PC version of the. Boy, God, if they bundled it with the first game and gave you a PC, really would love that.
Hey, Sarah, let me ask you something about your PS4. Did you ever have to go through title overload? Like a new console, a whole bunch of different games are suddenly available, and now you start looking into all the things you could be playing right now?
I haven't really ever done that because I tend to hyper focus down on the things that I'm already excited about, like Horizon Zero Dawn, Destiny and Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
I need to play with other people, and I've been waiting to play this game. Yeah, there are other games, whatever. Destiny and Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
So at some point, I will, have some time and look around and be like, oh, but that's a lot of games.
Yeah.
It's like what I went through because I was playing on Dreamcast for Sega system for so long, and it took me a while before I even got my first PlayStation. It was like suddenly all these titles opened up, and the same thing happened again when I finally broke down and got a 360.
Right.
Suddenly, a lot of titles just opened up for me to pick up and play.
See, I got very spoiled with console gaming because one of my friends had almost everything at the point at which I got into it. So I just went to his house and played his.
So I should have remembered to bring you some titles that you could have taken back with you to because I've got Bloodborne. You could have borrowed that.
Yeah, I think he probably does too. So, I had his copy of Horizon Zero Dawn before you sent me the link for the complete. So I picked that up since his was just the base game.
You should come by the house on your way back home. Stop by the house because it is on the way, and then you can just look through and be like, yeah, that one. I mean, obviously God of War I'm keeping because I'm playing that at the moment. But out of the physical games that I've got, because I do have Bloodborne, Shadow of the Colossus. Did you ever play that one?
I didn't. It does look good.
See,
though.
got that as well. So you got some stuff that you could borrow.
Yeah,
plenty of people use me as a rental service for games and movies.
Yes, I use him that way as well, although I'm not allowed to have any more movies until I return his copy of Rogue One.
That's going to be something, yeah, exactly.
That's good.
Did you subscribe to the PlayStation Plus thing? Are you in on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus, okay.
Those are good. That's good to have because you get the free games, that sort of thing.
Free games and discounts, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's always good.
Nice discounts sometimes, yeah.
Exactly. The only other thing that was left on the list here was, at least for me, was for the Fortnite issue. And honestly, it's going to be a quick one. It's just the fact that when Fortnite was announced for Nintendo Switch, a bunch of players went there and tried to log in, and when they did, they were kicked out because their PlayStation version of Fortnite that they were playing would not allow them to play on the Switch. And they got really up in arms on this. And for me, I didn't really understand it. It sounds normal because I've had to live with this through Destiny and almost anything else.
Yeah.
I've always had to. I really still haven't experienced crossplay.
Yeah.
Or if I have, I've done it.
If you're
unwittingly.
trying to level it to something that's actually being used at the moment, well, maybe used is a too strong a word, but if you compare this to something like Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft's business, Ubisoft has a whole bunch of stuff that you can collect points and a whole bunch of different things, but if Sony just randomly said, no, now all those points are combined to just our platform, you'd be kind of annoyed about that.
Well, of course. If that suddenly happened out of nowhere, yes.
Yeah, and that's what this has been, because no one understood what they were going to be doing whenever they signed up. They've been playing the PC, playing the Xbox, the PS4, absolutely fine, and then they tried to go on to the Switch, and it was locked down, and they were like, what's happened? What's happened to my character? I spent money on this, I spent time on this, got a whole outfit and all that sort of caper going on.
Mm-hmm.
What's been going on? Like, I can't get logged in anymore. It's my account. It's tied to PS4. Why can't I do this?
Yeah, I know. I understand. Although, like I said, this is not something that I have experienced in. Like, people who play Rocket League, they've experienced it, and I just don't play a lot of Rocket League, so I understand that they've gone through it. People who do the Windows Xbox crossover thing, because you could buy, if you buy the digital version on Windows, you can also get the digital version on your Xbox One. Mm-hmm. Except I haven't done that yet either. I do have the ability to do that, but I haven't upgraded to Windows 10. Yeah. Shut up.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I know. Well, I have, it's right behind me here. I have a certain program on Windows, on my Windows box that was set up and installed by our former IT guy who used to work here at the station. Mm-hmm. And it allows me access to the radio station from home to work on a bunch of stuff. And I'm very, very concerned that
right.
will not carry over. He's moved away now. He doesn't live here anymore. So I'm very, very concerned about that carrying over when I do upgrade. So I've been very cautious. I've also been impatient because I really want to do it, but I've been very cautious about it because I don't want to lose that ability. That would be bad. So yeah, that's the only reason. On that
specific topic, Scott, have you tried a virtual machine?
No, I haven't done the virtual machine yet.
Because I know you don't have multiple, you're not someone with like 16 PCs sitting around your house. You might maybe try a virtual machine just to see if that works or not.
Possibly, yeah.
Because it's a good way to test, and it's a good way to just, that's not working, I'll just shut it all down. Because that's what quite a lot of people use when they think they're going to be dealing with, scammers and that sort of thing. And they will put up a virtual machine to just follow along. Like, I've watched a couple of videos of people having fun with, scammers saying, oh my goodness, you're absolutely covered in viruses.
Yeah.
Let me tell you how to do it. And they will be like, I know what's going on here. It's a little bit of a virtual machine, and they'll have a wee mess around and see what they actually want to do. So, other people know what's actually going on if they follow these instructions, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But you'll be able to put up one and maybe have a wee fiddle and see whether those, access points are available to you on, differing systems.
Yeah, no. That's something to do, because if it does work, then great, I'm in the clear.
And if it doesn't, you'll actually know.
Yeah, exactly. I'll finally know. But back to the crossplay situation. I really hope, man, all I'm hoping for is that I don't even need crossplay on Destiny. I just need cross saves. I want to bring my characters from my PC and play them on PS4 with you guys whenever you guys are on to do that. Mm-hmm. And then whatever progress I make on that PS4, I want that to carry back over to the PC.
Yeah.
That's all that I want. Mm-hmm. I don't need to play with you guys on PS4 while I'm on PC. That's be great if they could, but I'm not even asking for that. Like, just baby steps to cross save.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Well,
and I'm
as
hoping.
You said before, Rocket League has already tested these waters. Rocket League with PC and Xbox, 100%. PC and PS4, 100%.
Exactly.
You start trying to middle with that. It's PlayStation. You feel like because they're in the lead, they are like, well, we can continue with our gated content, and this isn't actually such. If you're looking at it from their side, like I was listening to a particular insider to PlayStation who used to deal with PS Vita, trying to get people into that sort of biosphere. Mm-hmm. And he was sitting in on a meeting in regards to dealing with, like trying to get your saves from the PC to the Vita and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
There is a lot. Like, there's a lot of legislative work, not even just for one country. You're dealing with, 100 and whatever countries there is, all their different problems and variations and what have you. And he was saying that trying to get this Vita business up and running for just transferring over your saves was an absolute minefield. You know, you'd be like, well, what if we do this? And you hit a mine, and you go another way, you hit another mine. Like, I understand the idea of where they're coming from, where you cannot just simply implement it. But the fact is that Microsoft have done it. You need to figure it out for yourselves. If this is the issue you're talking about, Microsoft have already done it, and you don't need to fall behind.
No. Sony
is just flip-flop.
Yeah, Sony has released statements on it. They haven't released a reason as to why they're doing it. I remember at one point somebody released something, and I can't remember if it was Sony or Nintendo, or I think it was Sony, who said, well, we're governed by, the people who log on to the PlayStation Network are governed by our protocol of, what's it called? The user agreement type stuff, that sort of thing. Yeah. And we can't police that if we bring in other people from other consoles who are going to violate our terms of service because whatever, we can't monitor that sort of thing. It was a lame excuse to saying here's why we can't do this, even though we totally can. The other excuse,
EULA.
The EULA.
Yeah.
The EULA.
Then there was the then they released a statement for this Fortnite thing, but didn't address the fact of why they weren't allowing it to happen. And a guy named John Smedley, I believe, who used to work for Sony Online Entertainment, because he was the one who dealt with what was the name? It was a multiplayer game, PlanetSide. I think whenever they released. He doesn't work for Sony Online Entertainment anymore, but he said it's all about the money. They have a real problem with somebody buying a game on a different system and playing it and playing with other people on their system, sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So if they don't have that opportunity, this is what that means for them: is that if people want to play together on a Sony system, then they have to buy the game or the console to play on that system. Mm-hmm. And if they allow other people to play together from different systems, that means they're not going to make that. They're not going to make that chunk of change. They're probably not going to make it anyway because somebody's probably already relegated to, I'm going to play on this system, and if I can't, then that's just it.
Yeah.
But it's not something that's just going to.
Like it is possible to play with other people because, that's how it works for Street Fighter V. I play with people on PC all the time.
PC, yes, but you don't play with anybody on Xbox.
Yeah, well, it's exclusive anyway.
Well, on top of that, it is Fortnite, and it's a free game, and people will be like, well, you've just sapped my whole account, PS4, so you know what, I'll just make a new one, and you can just go away.
Now, there's some people that will do that, and there's some people who won't, because they put a whole lot of time
to get
into that account.
Oh, and money.
Oh, yeah.
Time and money in that one.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
You want to throw that all away?
But that feels like a short-term gain rather than long-term game.
The odd thing about it is that for looking at going back to the Destiny side, because apparently that's all I can ever compare other things to is Destiny.
It's a good example. Use it.
Bungie's in a place to make money. Activision is in a place to make money, and they probably realize this. But it's probably and seeing what's going on here, it's probably Sony in some kind of contract that they have where they can't implement this cross-save thing. Had she not picked up a PS4, I'd have been looking to get an Xbox copy of Destiny 2 if we had the cross-save.
Right.
So that I could take my characters over there and play with her on that system. And I've seen plenty of people say the same thing. If cross-save was implemented, I'd be buying 3 copies of your game, one for each system, just so that I could play with all my friends everywhere else and have it all saved wherever. Not cross-play, but cross-save.
Right.
That's all they're looking for.
Because all the stuff is tied to an account.
Right.
Held up by Bungie.
But, it's all Activision, Bungie.
Activision, Bungie. It's all held by them, so, yeah.
I know, but it's something that maybe one day will happen, but here's the only way I see it happening is if Sony loses the battle right now. They're currently in the lead as far as console sales and that sort of thing.
I was going to say, on top of that, Scott, Sony needs to lose the battle, but Xbox and Nintendo need to keep up what they're doing.
They do, and everybody still needs to remain vocal, I think, about this, so that they can. Because I know that they kind of trolled them with the Minecraft thing, where the survive together type thing, play together,
Yep.
survive together, that sort of thing. It was all Xbox and Nintendo. You could play together and do that. So I mean, that's another situation. And from what I understand, it's been pointed out, and I don't have any kind of source for this, but others have said back in the 360 days when Microsoft was leading the pack, they were against any kind of crossover, cross-save, cross-play, that sort of thing with Sony. And I'm not saying roles have reversed, because I don't feel like Nintendo is in any competition with anybody as far as Sony or Microsoft are concerned. So them allowing crossplay is whatever, they're fine with it. Oddly enough, if Nintendo, a company like Nintendo, who guard their image on a warrior scale,
Disney level,
on a Disney level, to allow crossplay with the other console folks or PC folks, if they're easy enough to allow it, then Sony's account of we don't want players violating our terms of service is completely trash. And we know it is. We know it's strictly about money. And that's where it's going to fall. Multal, we got to run, man. I appreciate you calling in and being on the show with us.
Oh, no, 100%. Had a great time. Hope everyone has a nice weekend.
You too,
You
man.
too.
Thanks, now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sarah, thank you so much for coming to the show, making this.
Absolutely.
I really hope your drive back is easier.
I do too.
Check your Google Maps before you go.
I will.
And see what that looks like for you. And but thank you so much for coming. And we got to do it again. Not as big of a gap in between.
Yes.
So, also want to thank everybody who is in the chat room and everybody listening on the radio and on the streams. We want to thank everybody who grabs us each week from iTunes, which will be going up tomorrow. And also on our YouTube channel. It'll go up tomorrow on our YouTube channel. So subscribe to that. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter. You can find us on Steam, which we talked about. You can find us on Twitch. Subscribe to our Twitch channel if you're watching us there. Thanks, everybody, so much for listening and tuning in. Have a fantastic week, and we will see you next Saturday. This final track is from Turok. It's called A Hostile Planet. The whole theme, and RJ got this right, but then again, I haven't really asked you, but the whole theme were games that featured dinosaurs. I got this whole thing with this whole Jurassic World thing on my shirt with Mario and a bunch of Yoshis and that sort of thing. So it was all related to dinosaurs. New Jurassic Park movie came out, so whatever. I tried to find a theme. So anyway, we'll see you next Saturday.